Okay, you know the feeling, right? It's 1 in the morning. You told yourself, I'm going to bed an hour ago. But there you are, phone in hand, thumb just still moving. You've been scrolling through this endless feed of just bad news, stressful updates, intense arguments. You know you should stop, but you just can't. So what is that? What is that magnetic pull that keeps us glued to content that just makes us feel anxious or sad or even angry? Well, it turns out it's not just a lack of willpower. Not at all. There's a really powerful scientific process happening here, and it involves both our brain's internal wiring and, you guessed it, the technology in our hands. So let's break it down. First things first, let's put a name to this thing. It's called doom scrolling, or you might hear it called doom surfing. And it's that compulsive, nagging need to keep seeking out upsetting information, even when it's clearly tanking your mood. And the keywords here really are obsessively and addicted, because that's exactly what it feels like, doesn't it? To really understand why this happens, we have to look inside our own heads, because this isn't just some bad habit we picked up. Oh no, it's a deep-seated neurobiological feedback loop. Our brains are literally being shaped by what we consume online, and it all starts with our most basic reward system. So every single time you see a new post, a like, a breaking news alert, bam, your brain gets this tiny little hit of a chemical called dopamine. But here's the thing about dopamine that people often get wrong. It's not really about pleasure. It's about motivation. It's about anticipation. It's the chemical that screams, hey, pay attention. This could be important. And this creates this incredibly powerful 4-step addictive cycle. It all starts with a simple cue, right? You just pick up your phone. That immediately sparks a craving for a potential reward. So you respond, you open an app and you start scrolling. And then, completely at random, you get it. A new piece of info, a new post. That randomness, that's the secret sauce. It works exactly like a slot machine, keeping you pulling the lever, or in this case, swiping your thumb, over and over and over again. And listen, over time, this isn't just some temporary chemical rush. Research shows this can lead to actual structural and functional changes in your brain. The part that handles impulse control, it gets weaker. Meanwhile, the parts that seek rewards and manage fear and anxiety, they become hyperactive. So, in short, your brain is being physically rewired to crave more of this stuff and to be worse at regulating itself. Okay, so that's what's going on inside our heads. That's the internal machinery. But that's only half the story, right? Our brains aren't just doing this in a vacuum. The digital world we're scrolling through has been meticulously, carefully engineered to exploit these exact vulnerabilities.
I mean, just think about the difference. Traditional media had boundaries. A newspaper ended. A TV show had a set time slot. But modern digital feeds, they are a completely different beast. They're infinite. They're unpredictable. They are always on, with a constant barrage of push notifications and autoplay features that are all designed for one thing: to eliminate any natural stopping point and keep our nervous system totally activated.
The algorithms that run these feeds have a whole toolkit of psychological tricks that use to keep you hooked. They prey on our negativity bias. That's our old caveman instinct to pay way more attention to threats. They tap into our fear of missing out, FOMO. They use that same random reward system that makes gambling so addictive. And they can even create something called emotional contagion, subtly shifting your mood by controlling the emotional tone of everything you see. So, what happens when you combine a brain that's wired to seek rewards with technology that's designed for maximum addiction? Well, you get a pretty significant cost to our mental health. So what are the real-world consequences of being stuck in this cycle? Let's start with a hard number. Some studies show a staggering 13% increase in the risk for depression for every additional hour spent on social media. It's what's called a dose-dependent effect, meaning the more you scroll, the greater the risk. This isn't a small thing. It's a huge public health signal.
Scientists actually have a name for the cumulative effect of all this. They call it a digital adversity load, and I think that's the perfect way to describe it. Think of it like a slow, constant drip of stress. Each individual post might seem minor, but that constant, sustained pileup of these little emotionally charged stressors, it puts a heavy, chronic strain on our entire nervous system.
In fact, and this is wild, this digital adversity load can affect our brains in ways that actually mimic trauma. Key brain systems get thrown completely off balance. The part that handles our sense of self can get stuck in a negative loop, just ruminating. And our brain's threat detection system can go into total overdrive, making us feel constantly on edge, like something terrible is about to happen. And all of that just creates this devastating ripple effect. Chronic stress, terrible sleep, pulling away from friends and family, and in the attention span, it's just shattered. It all adds up to a state of complete and total emotional burnout.
Okay, I know, that was heavy. But here's the good news. Understanding the problem is always the first step to fixing it. The very same science that explains the trap also gives us the tools to escape it. So let's shift gears and walk through a 4-step evidence-based toolkit you can use to break the cycle for good.
All right, here's the game plan. Step 1 is recognize. Get really honest with yourself about what your specific problematic scrolling looks like. Step 2, limit. Intentionally create barriers between you and the habit. 3, replace. Find a positive activity to do instead of scrolling. And 4, repeat. You practice this new loop until it becomes your new normal. It's all about taking back control one choice at a time. Let's dig into step 2 for a second. Limit. The entire goal here is to break the mindless, automatic nature of the habit. See, compulsive scrolling loves it when there's zero friction. So your job is to add friction. Delete the app for a week. Log out after every single time you use it. Keep your phone in another room. Each one of these extra steps creates this crucial pause, a little moment for your conscious brain to catch up and ask, wait, is this really what I want to be doing right now?
Next up, step 3, replace. Now this is so smart. The key is to find what's called a competing behavior. It's basically something you physically cannot do while also scrolling on your phone. It has to occupy your hands, or your eyes, or your mind, making doom scrolling impossible in that moment. This isn't about willpower, it's about strategy. You're making the better choice the easier choice.
And the options here are endless. I mean, you can't play an instrument and scroll at the same time. You can't do a crossword puzzle, call a friend, or go for a real walk while you're mindlessly swiping. So the second you feel that urge, you just pivot. You consciously choose one of these replacement activities instead.
And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most crucial step of all, repetition. Resisting the urge once, that's a great victory. But building a new lasting habit takes practice. Every single time you run this new routine, recognize, limit, replace, you are literally building a new, healthier pathway in your brain. So be patient with yourself. Over time, that healthy choice becomes the new automatic response. Look, at the end of the day, the infinite scroll is an environment that was designed to capture your attention and influence your emotional state. But now you know the science behind it. You know how it works, and that gives you the power to fight back. It's a battle between your brain's ancient vulnerabilities and your conscious modern choices. So the only real question left is, how are you going to take back control?